Hello, I'm Aaron Enohosa, and I'm going to read some points that I wrote down during the video because I've never done this. My goal is to get better at this. I've never done this again and have a good grade in this class. So, I'm reflecting the Aztecs. The biggest shift in my thinking was realizing that the Mexica were more advanced and influential than I previously thought. The presentation changed my understanding of Mexican American studies because it showed me the importance of indigenous history and its influence on modern Mexican culture. Uh, the Mexica began as a nomadic people before founding the Tenochtitlan. The Tenochtitlan grew from a settlement into one of the largest cities in the world at the time, and then they developed the floating garlands, which greatly improved their agriculture, which was astounding. And they built the aqueducts to provide fresh water and dams to prevent flooding. The triple alliance between the Tenochtitlan, Texaco, and the Talopan became the foundation of the Aztec Empire. If I had to teach one topic from this presentation, I would teach the development of the Tenochtitlan because it demonstrates the Mexica people's intelligence, innovations, and engineering accomplishments. Um, for my deep reflection, I put this presentation connects the themes of indigenous resilience and cultural fusion. Uh, I learned that the Mexica civilization was comprised of poets, engineers, politicians, and warriors. One of the myths I had was the idea that the Aztecs were conquered just because the Europeans had better weapons and, that they were smarter than them, but, that's never what happened. I got to know the development of the civilization that took place through the centuries and made them, the empire before the arrival of the Europeans, and how they're bigger than Paris and all those cities at the time. I got to understand the history is much more complicated than the simple accounts we learn in class, or I have learned in class. And then for the relevance and evidence, three crucial ideas, presented in the lecture, is the Tenochtitlan, the floating gardens, and then the Triple Alliance. All the examples reveal the great accomplishments of the Aztec people in terms of engineering, agriculture, their trading, and their government. Knowing about all those events gives us the ability to understand the Mexican culture today, since the native influences are still present in modern Mexico. Mexican history did not start with the colonization period, and it is necessary to study the indigenous civilizations for fully understanding of modern Mexico. And for my conclusion and goals, my major conclusion from watching the video is that the Mexico were a sophisticated civilization with many accomplishments other than wars and conquering, and just the Indian portrayment that people have of them. They're civilized people with community and government. They're real people, and my goal is also to also change my understanding of that. Thank you for your attention.